is there. All right. Give this a go. So, I just quit my job in Formula One. So I just watched back the first version of what I just recorded, and it was a little bit boring, and I think I realized that to make this work, it needs to be genuine. Like it's not like an interview. It's like I'm not trying to be here and be some super serious person. It's like I just want to show my personality here and like what I'm trying to do. So I guess doing this again and kind of explaining where I'm at, what I'm doing, why YouTube, like all these sorts of things, but it's just making sure that I'm coming across genuine from like the absolute get-go, because, you know, it's a camera, I'm speaking to no one, but I guess I'm speaking to other people on the other side of it. So I want to make sure that it feels that way. So, like, all right, so what actually was this job? Like, what did I do? So just for brief context, I was art director for Aston Martin Formula One team for 2 years, but then before that was also a content creator for them since 2020. So I was their first, I guess what you'd call content creator, creative person hired within that company to build Aston Martin as it was becoming Aston Martin. So from Racing Point to now. And it was insane. Like, honestly, like I look back and be like, damn, like the stuff that I was able to do across that time, like I got to build Aston Martin's TikTok to, it was like 2.3 or 2.4 by the time I came off working on that project, you know, working with Fernando Alonso to bring his TikTok to life. So working with him directly and, you know, what that is today and, you know, all the memes that you know and love, you know, leading campaigns. You know, we had our amazing campaign this year, had like Dom Dollar, like putting an F1 car on the street in Houston, crazy things that I've been able to do. And then all throughout that process, still had this nagging itch within myself to be like, I know that I want to do more. You know, being a part of this world of Formula One as it's grown to what it is today, from 2019 when I first moved over to the UK to start this journey, when no one, I guess, really knew over there what I was doing. Drive to Survive boom during COVID, and then to it becoming probably one of the most highly contended commercial spaces within the sporting world. Like, it's insane to see how this place has grown, but also the growth that I've also been able to have within that as well, really being at the forefront of, you know, short form content creativity within the space and bringing that to life in a different way that hadn't necessarily been done pre-Liberty would be the way to describe it. But throughout this whole process of being a part of this team and all this sort of stuff, there's been this nagging feeling of creating for myself. When I was full-time on the road, was able to kind of scratch that itch because it was so demanding. Well, I guess creatively, bringing so many different things to life every single week and having to be, you know, pushing things, being different. Like, I really got to hone in my craft through the work and just let the work do the talking. But then, you know, as I then came on board as art director, it then kind of shifted a bit. And then so that work was so demanding in so many other ways that I felt that I wasn't creating for myself in the way that I guess I had in the past, that it kind of like brought me to where I was. So I felt that, all right, I'm going to take this amazing opportunity for what it was. And then when I turn 30, I'm going to start my own thing, studio, company, whatever you want to call it. Then I turned 30 and basically just had to make that call. It was a non-negotiable for myself of I could keep staying in that role and do more amazing things, because it's an amazing team full of amazing people. But I made a promise to myself that I was going to quit. So it was a funny thing of, okay, shit, I'm now that age and I now have to make the decision that I promised myself I would make. And that was it. And so now, after however long, now in June, and finally left and now starting my own thing, and I'm on this creative journey. And I guess that has then led me to wanting to create a YouTube channel. But I feel like YouTube is this really interesting space, especially now, of connection, creativity, storytelling, narrative, beyond just these short form platforms, which, you know, I still love, I still use, and they have their place, especially in like the marketing world. That's where a lot of stuff goes on. But YouTube is also this entire entity of long form and engagement in a different way, of people interact differently, people build communities differently. It often transcends just the internet and goes beyond that, because, you know, that's what this platform does. And I think that's a really interesting space to play in. For what I want to build for my creative studio, the West London Service Department, it's like, I want this to turn into a physical space. Like, I want this to become a part of the creative community, especially around here, of just a whole bunch of people bringing the vibes together. And really important, I think, especially nowadays, of having that creative space for people to interact with each other. Because in this constantly online world, if you can create somewhere that people are able to come to and just feel that energy, I think that'll go a long way. And so I want to kind of have that being is this space, and then the studio and the work behind it is kind of just the machine that people buy into. There's a lot of insight and learnings and information and expertise that I bring that I also want to share with the world. I want to share that with other people, and I think that this is an important part of that journey. So I guess where we are now is that I'm putting this video out as the first video because, as with any creative endeavor, you can go round and round in circles and overthink these things a million times over. So I wanted to keep this as straightforward as I possibly could so that I could keep myself accountable and get this video out. But it's not to say that the work isn't really starting on what I'm actually trying to build here. So, you know, what will come next is probably explaining a bit more about who I am and what I've done. And I guess the backstory to where we are now will definitely kind of break into that. But then it's also going to be exploring these different facets of what is creativity, especially having worked in this space for so long. And as I moved up in this world, have gained a lot of experience that I think will be valuable for a lot of other people beyond just myself, and kind of have a level of insight that I think will be valuable to many other people. So I guess, you know, this is the start of a new journey for many, many reasons. And I'm probably only speaking to one person here, but if you are watching, I appreciate you. If no one's watching, I'll appreciate you down the line. So yeah, this is the start, and I'm looking forward to a lot more. So yeah, let's just make some cool shit.